These two do it, Cindy Stover and Alicia Carter. From in high school, Alicia and her husband Brad, they had a club called 757 Club, and I've been able to witness a lot of my friends go through that program and just change their lives with mentorship and a lot of positive outlooks through life. So I'm proud to have them to come speak to us today. Thanks.
Hi everybody, I'm Cindy Stover and I am the Clinical Director for Gateway to Prevention and Recovery's Treatment Services. We also have an office in Seminole and one in Chandler. And just brief, tell you a little bit about Gateway in case you need to know or know someone that does. We're a nonprofit and we're funded through the Department of Mental Health and Substance Abuse Services. We also bill private insurance, we do private pay, and we bill Medicaid. And what Gateway has that not many, if any, around here and several counties have, is we have some state dollars that they don't allocate out to anybody for treatment anymore. So we have like a gambling contract. We can do gambling treatment services, and those are free of charge. We have adolescent contracts. We have for the child welfare, the drug court, probation, just a basic general one. So we have those dollars that are able to serve people that don't have money and don't have insurance. So, and more importantly, we also have some federal grants right now. So we've been providing a service for the opioid epidemic that we have, and not just in Shawnee, in our country. And so this is a very effective treatment. We've been doing it for going on 3 years now. The federal dollars in the last year have increased so that we are now, it's a medication-assisted treatment. It's about the only way a severe opioid addict is going to be able to get off the opioids, because it's pretty much 100% relapse on severe opioid dependence. So we provide a medication that helps them with that, and counseling, and it's an intense treatment. So if you know of anybody and need to refer them, just give us a call. And we also are a hub for the distribution of the Narcan kits, the opioid reversal kits. So if somebody has an overdose, and they're very simple to administer, they're free. You just stick it in somebody's nose that appears to be in an overdose. They will die if you don't do this. And it reverses it long enough. They'll wake up and come out of that overdose long enough to get medical professionals in to help them. So we have those kits at Gateway, either through our prevention office or through our treatment office, and they're free. They're regular at like $75 to purchase one. So that's another good thing that we've got going on. What we're going to talk to you today about is one of the things we've been working on at Gateway for a long time. You know, if you don't know anything about substance disorders and addictions, they have a high relapse rate. They're difficult to treat, but they're very treatable, and lives are changed all the time. But one of the problems with that is relapse. And so, like, we get people in to Gateway and we get them in treatment services. They've got a lot of support going on. They do well. But when they leave and they discharge, they're good. And when they go home at night, you know, often they're going back to the same place they're coming from. So the neighborhoods, the people, the families, you know, we have a generational problem now with addictions. It's grandparents, parents, children, and it will continue. So, you know, we see that as one of the problems that increases relapse. So we started through our wellness program. We started on a wellness journey a couple of years ago, and Alicia Carter is going to talk to you about that. She's our wellness coordinator. And one of the 8 dimensions of wellness is social. So through that, we started looking at things we could do to have our patients interact into the community, and the community to interact with our patients, because they're the same people you live with. You know, they're the people of our community, and there's always been so much stigma surrounding this that it's kind of been an us and them thing for so long, for them as well, because they are fearful. They haven't been around people that are sober and are functioning in different levels. They've been living a different lifestyle. But these people are good people that have talents and families and things to offer. So, and Alicia's had several programs she's gotten started in our community, but our latest one that we've gotten started is our mentoring program. And I'll tell you a brief thing about mentoring personally for me, and then Alicia's going to continue. I'm in recovery. I'm an alcoholic and a drug addict. I've been sober 23 years, and when I got sober, I was a waitress with a GED. I worked downtown. I wasn't from Shawnee, but I've been living in this area for a couple of years. So I was 38 years old. I didn't know any people here. And so I got sober, and I got sober through a 12-step program, and after going through detox. But still, I'm a waitress with a GED and a lifetime of all this baggage. And somebody gave me a hand up. They didn't give me a handout, and this man gave me a job at St. Gregory's University as their receptionist. Now, I didn't even know what a college credit hour was. That had not been a part of my lifestyle. I never used a computer. I didn't know how to type. I didn't know how to do customer service. And so, I kept the ad for a long time because I didn't have any of the qualifications. And they took a chance on me, and they gave me that job, and they trained me, which enabled me then to work there for 5 years, get a bachelor's degree through them for free, and do my internship at Gateway, which gave me the career that I have today. So, without that chance, I'm not
and
saying
not be hired.
Yeah,
So I'm thankful for that too.
I don't know where I'd be. I feel like I would have still been successful in my sobriety, but who knows? But, without that chance, and that was just, for me, a God deal. It happened in a way that I really just kind of had to do it. It's like, here it is. So I'm forever grateful for that. And that's kind of one of the things that mentoring can help with. Not always that big or anything else. But the other thing I made there was the relationships with the people that worked at St. Gregory's. And, I also didn't have any type of religious background or understanding or connection. And so that place became a true love for me. And they did a lot of other things for me as well. So here's Alicia.
Thank you, Cindy. Tyler, you brought up the 757 Youth Ministry. That was actually the reason why my husband and I stayed in Shawnee after we graduated from OBU. We both are in Kansas City. Both our families are from Kansas City. We didn't have any connections here, except for the students that were, middle school to high school that were kind of underrepresented as far as anyone investing in them. Like specific to their culture, not necessarily saying, hey, come and be a part of what we have going on, but where this group that we formed, we went to them. We went to their houses. We did our group, or what we called club, in a way with their music, and did skits that were funny to them and included them in a part of that. And for our participation with them, they changed our lives. And were the reason why we felt connected in this community, and we stayed because we wanted to see them get through high school and then through that. And the majority of people that went through that program ended up graduating when maybe they wouldn't have, or have really successful families. You're a friend of one. So that's interesting that coming to Shawnee kind of started with that mentoring program. And what we're doing now at Gateway is, and I'm going to back up a little bit. About 4 years ago, when I was hired, I asked to be a wellness coordinator for the sake of my own wellness. I thought, well, if wellness is my job, then I will do a good job at it. And so we've worked tirelessly, really very, very small intentional steps with our own staff, with our own administration, and with our patients. And then slowly over that time, we have wanted to reach out to the community. And so what I want to offer you all, just so that you know, on Wednesdays, I send out a Happy Wellness Wednesday email, and it is specifically for our wellness and our emotional and mental health. And you get that for free, and you can pass it along to your organization or family. So if that's something you would like, all I need is your email. The other thing you are always invited to once you get on that email is we do a monthly wellness and recovery lunch. John and his mother have attended a number of those. Steve has attended. Blue Zone staff have attended, but we do those at the Senior Center generally the last Tuesday of the month from noon to 1. And it is a chance for people in recovery, so Gateway participants, alumni, and the community to be in community with each other. Eating together, sharing stories from the heart, learning about positive, healthy activities that are available in this community. So that's available to you to start being a part of. And there's no commitment to that. You just show up, and just by showing up, people start to see, well, that person doesn't even know me. They don't need anything from me. They're not asking me anything. They're just showing up and want to eat lunch with me. And when people are in treatment and then they start getting a different view of the community, they have hope. that after Gateway, maybe even another door opens up rather than it just shuts and that's all they've got. So you're invited to that. We have started 2 recovery softball teams, ODAT, one day at a time, and I'm on the Recovery Warriors. It is fine, we still like each other. She is tough, I will not lie. And so we play through the YMCA. They give us a discount and support what we're doing, but we get to come into the community playing ball. And a lot of these individuals were really good in high school, like really good, but through circumstances, whether their own choices or what was going on in their home lives at the time, some of them got into drugs and alcohol, others have been in prison and were able to play. And so for them to get to come out and play ball and be on a team, be a part of a team, you can just feel it, this idea of being a part of a team. So that's really encouraging, and we're continuing with that. So that brings us up to our newest program, and it is a mentorship program. And we worked with Chris Steele and his organization at Team as they do mentorships with individuals getting out of prison and are like working, and anything to add to that?
No,
Okay, general idea. So we went through their handbook, Cindy and I, and a pick team of volunteers to kind of think, okay, so if Gateway was going to do a mentoring program, what would that look like? And so that was 2 or 3 months worth of meeting and going over that and talking about what does that mean to connect a person in the community with a person in recovery? How do we keep boundaries? How do we keep people feeling safe and heard? And so from there, I sent out through my emails who's interested. And we hoped for 10, and we got 12. Mentors. Steve is actually one of our mentors, and so we're very thankful to him. And then we put it out to our people and said, okay, is anybody interested in this? And we have 12 people that are interested. And so a couple people have already gotten to meet, and then this Saturday the rest will meet. And I want to share with you what I just witnessed last night when a mentor and a mentee, they met at my office. And they were it's funny because they actually sat next to each other at the wellness lunch. But I forgot who was who and if they were with each other. But they had been sitting next to each other. And then I go out to bring them into my office, and they're sitting next to each other. I'm like, you two, come with me. And they're like, so they come into my office, and they're just kind of sitting there and looking at each other, and all the feelings you feel when you're meeting somebody new. And the mentee, she was able to really speak from her heart, and she just said, she was like, I have never had a friend. I mean, we have tons of friends. Many of you are my friends, and if you're not, you're potential friends to me. I see you as safe and someone I can be in relationship with. But she said, I've never had a friend. I've never had anybody who didn't want something from me and who just wanted to be with me to be with me. And so they kind of, it was awkward, and they kind of talked and shared, and we were stumbling through, and I said, well, so Tiffany, or I said, so think about some of the things that you would want to do. Like, what are some things you've been wanting to do? And maybe it's go to church, walk the track. Things we don't even, we're kind of like, we don't even have time for that. We've got so many other busy things to do. And these are things that she has wanted to do. And, when you're talking spirituality and you're talking getting invested and involved, these are things that could help her depression, that they would open doors for her children. This group is so, focused on children and helping children that, sometimes the way to do that is to help their parents and open doors for their parents, invite them to a Kiwanis meeting, introduce them, because our connections are our children's connections. And so when she looked at her mentor, and her mentor said, I'll go with you to a Pentecostal church, I'll go with you to walk the track, it was almost if all these locked doors just opened. And that just she said, now that I know you, I can do these things. Come on. And the only standard is you meet twice a month. for the purpose of friendship. Like, that's really it. And then we just evaluate on a month-to-month basis. We're the mentor coordinators, and we just go step by step. How's it going? What do you need? Is anything getting weird? You know, are you uncomfortable? What's up? But that's it. So it's a very simple thing that I think community mentors are hungry for, because sometimes we can get really busy but don't necessarily feel like what we do is maybe meaningful or is really getting the job done. And so just so you know, any of you would be welcome to apply for this program. I do have applications or could send you some. We can keep them on file, and as the program grows, we would consider any of you to be fabulous mentors. But this is going to be the next step that really takes our patients out of Gateway and brings them in as functioning members of this community, where they get to take on new things that maybe you all would show them, but that you all would get to see a little bit more of their world and their personality and what they have to bring. Because if there are people in this community that aren't being represented, we're suffering from it. We don't know that we are. We think we're fine and everything's okay, but we're lacking if we don't have everyone at the table. And so this is a way that Gateway wants to start introducing you to the population we are so blessed to work with every day, and for them to know y'all, because y'all are really good people too. So that's about all I have. Anything else?
Any questions?
Yes, sir.
First, congratulations on your success in recovery.
Oh, thank you. God, it's gone.
Sometimes I see some of the, I want to misspeak, the boutique recovery facilities that are advertising on TV, things like that. Have you tried anything? Did you try anything other than the Gateway program or anything else that got you where you were at?
Me? No, I recovered strictly through a 12-step program. I mean, that's what happened for me. That was 23 years ago, and I went through a week's worth of detox at St. Anthony's, but I didn't know about Gateway actually till I started my internship. So we do some great work there. I'll brag just a second on Gateway. We're a little bit different than your bigger facilities in that we have community, and we're able to do some of these things personally with the patients as far as getting them into different resources and stuff. But this wellness journey we've been on in the last couple of years has been amazing. We just have to figure out how to track our data on it so we can prove what we're doing, but the evidence is there. Gateway has grown so much in the last couple of years. We are using every inch of our facility. We're trying to figure out a way to get a bigger facility because the need is there, the money is there, but we don't have the space. So that's a good thing. It's kind of hectic at the moment because we don't turn people away. We're just real crowded. And I believe a lot of this has been centered around the work that we do at Gateway. So it's a good place to send people.
Talk about prevention and treatment. Some people may not know about both sides.
Yeah. Well, we have a prevention. It's Gateway to Prevention and Recovery. And our prevention office is an area prevention center. They call it coordinator now. A resource prevention coordinator, an RPC. And Kathy here works for our prevention office, and they have a healthy living grant, and they have through the Tobacco Settlement Endowment Fund grant, the TSET. So they do things in the community, like helping to change policy for tobaccos. They look for opportunities. They give out, what else? Kathy can tell y'all more, but I've even got some brochures here for the prevention office. But they work in coordination with us. We joke and say they're trying to put us out of business, which would be wonderful. But we work together with them because often people in the community, when they meet people from Gateway, it's the prevention staff that they meet because they're out into the community. We don't get out of the office a whole lot. And so they are able to, people are always asking them about a friend or family member, and so they're able to tell them about the services that we do. And so they do a lot of different things in our community. They're out all the time doing things. All those no tobacco signs you see, that's thanks to prevention.
You mentioned that the mentee said she wanted to go to church. So made me wonder, are mentors at liberty to talk over religious matters with mentees, and are there guidelines for the way that's?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So we encourage both mentors and mentees to be authentic. This is my experience. This is what I know and where I come from. But it's staying to that and respecting each person's point of view or what they're comfortable with or what they're not comfortable with. It's a friendship, so it's not, not necessarily giving advice or putting one's opinions over on another person. So that would be, one of the mentors went to a certain type of church and invite, you'd be welcome for me to come. And so I kind of furthered the conversation. I said, well, is there a church you have felt comfortable with? And it was a different type of church. And the mentor said, well, I'd be more than happy to come and visit with your type of, where you want to go. So it is remembering that the mentee is the focus. And the mentor can share and be authentic, but that ultimately it's more centered on the mentee and their needs.
Yeah. For a lot of people who have recovered,
Right.
religious faith is a big part of that. So as a mentor trying to help someone else recover, it's natural to not leave out that aspect of recovery.
Exactly. And just recognizing that everybody's religion or spirituality is going to look different. Yeah, good point. Any other questions? Or just thoughts that came up as we were sharing?
I would just also mention that I do receive the Wednesday Wellness Minute that Alicia writes, and it is fabulous. I repurpose it sometimes with her permission, on a blog that I write because it really is relevant, good, it's short, it's easy to read, and so if you are interested in that, I would just vouch for it, say I received it, and give her your email. It's a really good Wellness Minute.
Also, you can like Gateway's Facebook page because we'll have announcements on there, like when our softball games are. And just a note on that, we had the biggest cheering section of any team out there this year. We have a huge cheering section. It gets really loud.
And if you do like the Gateway Facebook page, we have people sign releases for photo releases, but you will see what we're doing, whether that's softball or they just had a fun day or the mentoring. So you kind of get a little bit more personal view of what's going on and even some of the community members that are involved. There is a donate button also in case you felt so obliged. But with that, Gateway, as far as I know, has never really reached out to the community for.
We haven't had a fundraiser since I've been there in 15 years. We haven't gone to the community for help, but we are about to because we have to get a new building.
So, maybe you can't necessarily be a part of Gateway in some of these like relational ways, but consider giving it whatever you're able to. We work very thriftfully with what we have. When you don't have much, then you have to really be creative and really use your contacts and collaborate, which I think we're doing really well. And so, how neat would it be with a little extra funding on that to be able to take this stuff to the next level for them? So, just a side note. Any other thoughts or questions? Just in case. Thank you so much, y'all.
Thank you.